to Executive Coaching in the AI Era, the place where you get real, no fluff, proven processes for navigating the chaotic, ever-changing corporate world. I'm Stacy Mayer, executive coach, promotion strategist, and best-selling author. For the past decade, I've been helping senior leaders like you make the intangible process of getting to the leadership table tangible, even during layoffs, economic downturns, and AI disruption. Let's go. Hello, corporate badasses. Welcome to another episode of Executive Coaching in the AI Era. I am super excited to be here with you again this week. This is actually the first podcast interview I have done as part of this new platform, talking more about AI. And I have to tell you, I get a little bit intimidated talking about technology and AI when half the time, honestly, in full transparency, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. But what I do know is that technology is here to stay. It's a huge part of our lives. And I know that the three women that I'm having on today's podcast have really embraced technology and their power behind that technology. And there's a lot of conversation about whether or not, women are using AI in the ways that we could possibly. And there's some people will even say that women are intimidated by AI or think that it's cheating. And I call BS on all of that. Every single woman that I talk about is actually using AI. They might not be able to talk about it or feel as confident sharing about it because of, those male intimidation factors that tend to happen against us. But these women on today's podcast are talking very openly about it, and I had to get them on. And they're also three women that I have worked with over the past, some of them like many years ago. And it's so exciting for me to bring them on today's podcast to be able to really celebrate their leadership and the work that they are doing using technology. So thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to have each one of them introduce themselves separately, and then we'll just dive right in. Nicole, why don't you kick us off? Who are you and what do you do?
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Collins. Thank you so much for having me, Stacy. It's wonderful to see you again. It has been a really long time, so this is really special for me. I am currently a founder of a product, which is an AI guide for women who lose their husbands or their spouses. It helps them work through all of the financial decisions that they need to make in that first year. There's a lot of intense decisions. And so I'm building that with AI right now. It's really exciting. Before that, I was an executive at a tech company in Boston. I led marketing and people and have a long career in marketing and communications as well as HR. So I'm really excited to talk about this today because I think I have a lot of corporate experience that I can speak to for women in the corporate setting. But also, if you're interested in becoming a founder, going out on your own, becoming an entrepreneur, I'd love to talk about that as well.
Awesome. Amazing. I noticed that a lot of the women inside of my leadership table mastermind, and Pooja is one of them, who is this idea of creating our own business and still working in corporate. And we can kind of talk about that transition that you had as well. I'm curious about that. So speaking of Pooja, why don't you go next?
So I started as an embedded systems engineer, doing hardware bring up, where, one line bug can actually break the devices in the field. I learned early on that the person who sees the entire stack from the silicon up to the customer is the person who can actually make the product decisions. Today, I operate like as a product delivery leader, I would say, and solutions architect for hardware software companies, IoT, semiconductor, medical, automotive, all of that. The why is more personal. So earlier in my career, I realized that as an engineer in the room, I had the right answers, but nobody listened to, right? So I watched decisions being made by people further from the problem, and I watched products pay the price. And that really stayed with me. So today, everything I do now is built around one conviction, that the engineer closest to the problem is the most important voice in the room. So my job is to build the environment where the voices are getting heard and then make sure that it's connected all the way up to the strategy. So that when that happens, you just don't ship faster, you ship the right product and the right thing.
That's amazing. I love it. And Pooja, I'm so proud of you, even just from that introduction. That was brilliant. It gets me really behind you and the work that you're doing. I love it. Monika, what about you?
Thank you for having me, by the way. So good to see you all. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a founder and a technology leader. According to my kids, I'm a terrible cook, but thankfully I'm married to my husband who's a chef. I spent more than a decade helping organizations embracing change and technology. And today I'm the founder of Lead Through Change, where I help leaders use AI to become more effective, not less human. So most people assume my AI journey started because I worked in tech, and it didn't. In 2024, I was destroyed. We had a tornado go through our neighborhood and destroyed our home. So overnight, I was juggling insurance claims, contractor bids, rebuilding decisions, temporary housing, 2 young kids, and leadership responsibilities. And it was just a lot. And so that's when AI stopped being just another technology, became an extension of my leadership. It helped me think clearly, make better decisions, create capacity when I didn't have any. Then that's exactly what I help other leaders do today.
Wow, I'm so glad to have you here. Yes. Monika, I'll go back to you. Can you share with me, you've already alluded to it even in your introduction, what some of your secrets to success have been over the years?
Yeah, so I think for me personally, just leaning into my faith has been a big part of my journey and my leadership process. And as much we want to prepare for certain things and plan things out, there's always a lot of things that are unplanned. And so when everything happened the way it did, especially with the tornado recently, I really just there were days where I couldn't get out of bed, if I'm honest. And so it's like, how do I even build the capacity to be able to get up and show up for my kids and be able to do the things? And so one of the things that in that season, AI became one of my great things where people that are scared of it, I actually lean into it and went in on it and say, how can it help me navigate through one of the hardest seasons of my life? And it was just really incredible to be able to stay curious and open and learn the things I was able to do through that. The secret to my success would be staying curious and not being afraid of things. It could be very overwhelming, again, with fear and things that come at us, but being able to stay curious and a big part of it has been my faith as well.
One of the things, Monika, too, I wonder about, did you always have a love for technology or an embrace of technology? Like you talked a little bit about your enthusiasm and curiosity around AI actually happened out of a result of this need and this tragedy that happened to you. Why has technology always been a through line in your career? And as long as I've known you, it's always been like the main headline underneath your name, basically. So.
Yeah. So as I look back at my journey, one thing that really just pushed me towards the career is like there's always something new that came with it. So it also was something that gave possibilities. So if I was able to learn about it and stay curious and learn the things that were coming up, and how could I actually be that voice for that as well? And so with me, I think it's always been. I mean, especially with AI, I didn't discover AI because I love technology. I mean, I love technology, don't get me wrong, but I mean, like really going into the actual AI part was really just knowing that, okay, people are saying they can do all these things. How can I really implement it to my daily schedule? And so with all of that, like specifically for the AI piece, it became my chief of staff, so now I have these agents that I end up building. So I have a chief of staff, AI Monika. And then underneath that, there's, a grant writer. So an agent that's a grant writer.
It's so fun. I love it. It's like, just like surround yourself with all these people and all this resource, right? It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some parallels also to Nicole's work and what you help so many people navigate now through your product. And I'm so, so, so thrilled that you are offering this to the world, and it's obviously so needed. So what do you feel like, Nicole, are your big secrets to success?
Well, when I have success, I will let you know. But I see it. But I think, I was listening to Monika's story, and there is a parallel, and I'm so sorry to hear what you went through, Monika. And I have very similar. So in the people role, when I was with my organization, AI was coming on the scene, and it's the new disruptive technology. So I felt a responsibility as the leader to make sure that our employees were equipped with what they needed to be competitive and to feel supported around AI. So there was, I had gotten into AI in my people leadership journey. It was something we were experimenting with. So I was already using AI, but not as much on a personal level to solve personal challenges in my life. around the time when AI was coming on the scene, my partner was diagnosed with brain cancer and unfortunately had a long illness and then passed away. And after he passed away, he wasn't really prepared financially. He didn't have a will or trust, any of that set up because he was young and he didn't believe that he was going to die. And I learned that this is the case for so many Americans. And what happens is often women, either adult children that inherit their parents' financial situation or spouses, a lot of women are being hit with having to manage all of this while they're working corporate jobs, while they're caretaking their children, their parents. So I started thinking, how could I bring AI to this problem? And I didn't know how, and I'm still working on that, but it's been an incredible journey for me in doing that in the way that I am learning so much about AI, but I'm also learning a lot about myself because I'm having to do this on my own. I am the one who gets up every day and yes, works with my agents like Monica. I also have a chief of staff set up. I have agents that do specific functions. But I am still, it's the human in the loop. So I am every day needing to work with this team of agents to make a lot of decisions and grow my capacity. And some days, it just doesn't go well. And I have to look at why. And I think there's a lot of parallels to being a leader of a corporate team because it's the same thing when you're leading a group of people. If you don't get the results that you expected from that group of people, you really need to look at yourself as a leader and say, okay, is there more context that I need to give these people? Do I need to be more consistent in my messaging? Is there a weak link in the team? I mean, sometimes that is the case, but I would recommend that leaders look at themselves first. And so I do that with my team of agents as well. If I'm not getting the results I want to see in the product I'm building, I need to look at the context that I'm giving these agents to build with and then learn how can I do this better? How can I write a better product requirements document, which is a new thing for me. So I don't know if there's a secret of success there. I hope so. But I think it's just the curiosity and the will to get up every day and to almost start fresh each day and say, I am going to do this. I'm going to do X. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to learn a lot from it and sort of reconfigure what I'm going to do the next day and try again.
This is reminding me a little bit of like, if you want something done, have a mom do it or whatever. I don't know. That just like popped into my head. But this inherent idea of resourcefulness and curiosity, which I actually, if you just look at technology as a whole, doesn't lead with that. In my opinion, technology leads with having it all together. Like literally like this perfect box. It's like this thing as a woman, I don't understand. It's over there. I don't use it. Like whatever. But we're having a conversation right now about embracing that through the lens of curiosity and then also our inherent resourcefulness, which just says, hey, I am not a person who sits on the couch and just lets life go by. Like I am going to get up and be in the game. And so that's what I'm hearing from both of you so far and really, really excited about these possibilities for all of us in the future and now. Pooja, what about you? What have been some of your secrets to success?
It's mainly two things, I would say. It's context translation and curiosity, and explain what it means to me, right? So when I say context translation, like I said, I'm a mom and an engineer, right? What I see sometimes is things are made complicated without any reason, right? So what as in my life and at work, what I do is I understand what the room needs and translate what it means to them. For example, right, I can walk into a board meeting, explain why a technical architecture decision has a direct business consequence. Or I can walk into an engineering stand-up and explain why a business deadline is not arbitrary, right? That it actually has a stake for the customer, for the company, for team's own credibility. So when both sides of the conversation feel heard and understood, that's what I think makes organizations successful and move faster. Even on day-to-day, right, when I'm talking to my teenage daughter, understanding her context, I think that translates to one of the key things that I feel proud of that I'm able to do. And second, like Nicole said, curiosity. Curiosity is behind everything. For me, it has driven my career, it has driven my life, and I meet new people and I step into new environment. My first instinct is not to fix something, right? It's to understand everything, why was a decision made, why a person is behaving or reacting in such a way, why a long tenured engineer doesn't have good documentation. So all this curiosity leads me to adapt to fast domains and ask better questions. I think one of the key things that I've learned is asking better questions. And that's what I model as a leader at places where I was at here.
So tell us a little bit, Pooja, we'll stick with you for a little bit longer. What are some of the tools that you've been building at work? How are you using AI and technology in the workplace today?
So big part of my work is about building scalable architectures. So right now we have systems and they are transitioning to products, I would say, which require edge intelligence. They require new connectivity and new regulatory environments where we talk about security in AI, safety, all of that as well. So I am building architectures which are foundation of all this and then can absorb without the complete rewrite. So especially in consumer and industrial domain, architecture foresight is what defines a product, and it will be a difference between a product which is right for the market and on time.
Is this something that you've done for the past 5 years, or has anything sort of shifted in your role more recently?
Scalable architecture was always the theme, but what has shifted now is with all this new information, how to make sure that it doesn't overwhelm you, but still you stay on the course with taking the inputs. So it seems complex, but it's not, right? In a way that we revisit every day. For example, in embedded systems, safety and security was not a big piece. I mean, nobody's going to hack into my refrigerator and probably do something. But now it is, right? Now
I know. I was like, we definitely do not have a smart refrigerator for that reason. So
yes. But building systems which are edge smart, I do want my refrigerator to talk to the grocery store and probably order the groceries that I need, but I don't want it to be hacked, right? So so that's the balance that we have to constantly manage. So that has shifted, Stacy, with AI, that making sure the devices and the user experience doesn't change.
Monika, tell us a little bit more about your work and what you've created. I think it sounds like you have a couple of different really cool things happening right now.
So I'm building a movement called Lead Through Change because I've learned that, change is inevitable, but growth is intentional. And so I help leaders navigate one of the biggest shifts of our generation by using framework I call LEAD, which is leverage AI, E for empowering people, act with wisdom, and then D stands for drive change. So through keynotes, executive workshops, coaching, and also my upcoming book, Lead Through Change with Truth, Tech, and Transformation. Mission's been really simple, is help people use AI to expand, their capacity without losing their humanity. Another thing that I founded was Lights Camera AI Studio. And honestly, it wasn't born because I wanted another business. It was born because of survival. After our tornado, I wasn't just, rebuilding my home. I was rebuilding my identity and my position change and all these different things. And so as a speaker and a leader, I needed to, rebrand my photos, and I needed to have I really didn't have the energy to book a photo shoot and go do a branding photo shoot. It was so overwhelming. So I turned to AI. What started as a necessity became my enterprise. So I learned prompting engineering and cinematic AI storytelling to create authentic on-brand visuals. And then I realized, this is something that I love having for myself. So how can I do this for other, and have this to be for other women as well? And so that's where Lights Camera AI Studio was born.
I really love your work and your videos because there is such a strong authenticity to everything that you do, and a humility, and also they're just really fun to watch. So it's like you get that combination of both. Nicole, what about you? Tell us more about the product itself, perhaps even the business that you're building, right? Moving into having your own business and no longer working in corporate.
I'll start with the product. So I told you how that was born, how B was born for me through my own personal experience. But I had a little bit of a longer journey in there that I skipped in my intro. So I'll add that in now, is that after my partner Christian passed away, I, of course, experienced profound grief. And so I went on a journey to learn everything I could about grief, because I'm a systems thinker. I need to figure it out. And so I started learning. I got 2 grief coaching certifications, started actually coaching private clients and doing some pro bono work. And almost every single woman who came to me really talked about the financial burden and just how overwhelmed they were and how they were scared they were going to lose their house, or they didn't know, the deadline for this and the taxes. And almost every grief coaching engagement that I had became about finances. And so it just started, I had already started using AI with my clients to build them dashboards that they could track their emotional experience on a day-to-day basis. So I was just like, how can I bring AI to help these women? So that's how B was born. So what it is a voice first product. And so I'm developing, so women can just talk to it, because they're overwhelmed when you're grieving and you've lost your person. You don't really want to be online filling a lot of forms out and having to read large quantities of text. Our brains are just not built for it at that time when we're grieving. So it's voice first. She can talk through it, and it talks her through all of the decisions that she needs to make. It's not giving it financial advice, because that would be, I would have to be licensed, but it is helping them work through those different stages. And it's been a real journey building this with AI. I mean, first of all, voice first, going through the different voice models and voice agents that are out there. I'm currently using 11 Labs, but I have tried some others, and I'm actually looking, the new ChatGPT Soul model came out, has a lot more voice capabilities. So I'm testing that. And it's really exciting, though, to be able to be a founder and say, this incredible new technology came out. I am just going to bring it in right now and start testing it, rather than having to go through a lot of red tape around that and asking my IT department if it's okay. I mean, I am the IT department and I say it's okay. And so just about the business really briefly, I'm also, because I'm a former people leader and really believe in helping women and employees develop their capacity with AI, I've been working on some engagements where I help companies just think more responsibly about AI and safety when you're bringing it in with more vulnerable populations. I've been working with nonprofits and organizations that serve populations like grievers or people who have experienced violence in different ways. And these organizations want to bring AI to those spaces because there's not a lot of funding for nonprofits. And so AI can really increase the efficiency of an organization, but there's serious safety concerns in bringing any of these tools into working with those populations. So since I've spent so much time on the B model, making sure that it's very safe and responsible, I'm also helping other organizations work through the choices of how to bring AI with vulnerable populations.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of all of you.
Thank you.
It's incredible. I'm thinking a little bit about AI use in our career development. So everything that I teach is always, we become better leaders through focusing on ourselves and being intentional about our career journey and what we need. And then now we have these amazing tools and technology that can also help support our more conventional success, like, being able to start our own business, moving up the corporate ladder, becoming a vice president, like whatever that might be in your career. Let's go back to you, Nicole. How did you use AI, like really specifically to build your business, to build your career, to, as you said, to have future success, hopefully, as you continue to grow this business?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. I have so many ways, but I think that what really popped into my head was every leader, every founder, and especially since now I'm a solo founder, I'm working on my own, every leader needs feedback. And a lot of times we just don't get it in our organizations. A lot of people are too afraid to give feedback because for lots of reasons. We don't often get good feedback. So I think for me, going out on my own, and I first started using AI to coach me as a grief coach because I was so worried. I mean, it's hard to just all of a sudden become a grief coach. And because you open up the Zoom screen and you have someone who just lost everything and who is in one of the worst places they've ever been in their life. And I'm practicing basically. And so I felt very uncomfortable doing that. And so I started using AI. I developed 2 different coaches, Codex or ChatGPT and Claude, to both coach me. And so I realized that and have them give me feedback on a coaching session. And I realized that I should be doing that all day, every day with my writing, with my strategy. So I use both models, ChatGPT and Claude, to pressure test my ideas, the way I'm going to communicate something. So I may, write something with Claude, and then I'll take it to Codex and say, react to this as this audience, give me the feedback. And then I think about that, and then I go back to Claude and refine. So it's like working with a team, but it's giving me feedback in ways that I've never really had in my life. Now, again, these are AI tools. They are not a replacement for people. But what I found was I wasn't getting, unless you hire a coach, a wonderful coach like you, Stacy, a lot of times you don't get that feedback and you're just out there kind of operating blind, wondering, did what I say have the impact that I wanted it to? So that's where AI has been really helpful for me in developing my capacity.
That makes a lot of sense. Pooja, what about you? How have you used technology and AI in your career?
Yeah, so recently, right, I think it has shifted a lot for us in terms of the delivery timelines and the discovery timelines. And also, I use it as my second brain, as a strategy sounding board. So, for example, in my world, the regulatory stack matters a lot on what a particular consumer product needs to work with, right? The standards and everything. So, as a semiconductor customer, when someone is talking about a new sensor architecture, earlier it would take us weeks of asking the questions, going through the regulatory compliances and everything. Now that is compressed significantly. So we actually use Claude and Gemini a lot to make sure that our first architecture is really useful and is compliant. And also I use it, like I said, as a second brain when I am proposing a strategy. So I make a strategy. I discuss with Claude. I've personalized it because I've been working with it a lot.
Do you think it helps you sound cooler?
I don't know. I think it
I'm
does,
asking
but
because, no, I mean, I'm asking because a lot of what I think about with career development, career advancement is being able to communicate up, right? Like being able to manage up, build those relationships, being able to speak the language of other people, especially being in engineering background. Sometimes we can get too deep in the technology and then we're not communicating up to the CEO in the way that the CEO needs to hear. So I'm just kind of curious for you, have you been able to use it as a tool to sort of like literally translate what you're saying and what you want to communicate when you communicate the strategies?
Yeah, no, perfectly. The reason I laughed it instead of cooler, I would say sharper and crisp.
Yeah.
Because instead of like I use the word concept translation, so definitely, Stacy, it does help you. And I do give feedback to AI agents as well. That okay, I don't need positive reinforcement. I need you to do this, blah blah blah. Exactly right. It was just so. I think that feedback to the agents and to these tools also help. But yes, definitely, it has made the communication more crisp, more sharp, if the input is okay, right? I really emphasize on garbage in, garbage out. So for us to use AI smartly, you need to have the right strategy, thoughts, and inputs correctly. Only then you will get a sharper, concise, and cooler output.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Monika, what about you? I know that you're somebody, when I met you, you worked in corporate-ish, corporate nonprofits, higher levels, bringing technology to them, and then now building your own business as well. What has helped you? How have you been able to use technology in your career to make these changes?
Some people ask me like how, when people do ask like, how do I use AI? And I'm like, how much time do you have? Because I feel like I've used it
Yeah.
with different things. And so, but I think one of the biggest ones that would probably help women that are on here or just watching this is just having that agent that would be like, my agent was like the AI agent Claire, which became my executive career strategist. So when I was trying to navigate, what my next role would be this season of my life. Yeah, so having someone like you act as a top 1% career expert strategist, and she would do is she would look at all the different opportunities that were available. She would look at my resume, update my resume, but then also change my resume to fit some of the positions that I was applying for. And so she became like the strategic partner that actually did all the research, did all the things, and I would just kind of bring it up to here are the top 10 opportunities you should apply for or look at. And so she became like my executive career strategist, which was really great. And then, with grant writing back with the nonprofit work that I've done, I had Grace, which was my director of grants, strategic partnerships. So she did a lot of research for grant writing that specifically in the Midwest that we had. She would do the proposal and then also, but again, use it as a thought lead partner, not someone that just like, I'm going to just take this as is and then just, leave it as is. You don't do that. And so I think that having the different, like you can actually take all the different knowledge from the internet and use it for your advantage. And so one thing also is like having a board of directors. So think about, when you're a not-for-profit, you have all the different directors, right? A board of directors. So I would pick like 5 different people that would, like, who are my board of directors for my personal brand and be able to be that thought leader for myself. And so, if I had if I was wanting to go a different direction, they're like, well, here are the things that you should consider, or tell me my blind spots, tell me something that I'm not seeing.
Are you talking about using AI as a personal board of directors? Like you would have Grace and Claire and all them, that's your personal board of directors? I just thought of something too, which is really interesting. So, back when I did like unconscious bias training, there was like a really cool thing that you could do where if you had like photos of people in leadership that were different genders, different races than what you would, unconsciously go to, then you're literally like reprogramming your brain to think of them first, right? And when you were just talking about your personal board of directors with all these powerful feminine names, and I was just like, yes, like we're literally like we're using it as our personal board of directors, but we're also reprogramming all the people who are around us, giving us advice, and we're actually calling them women, right? Like, and I just think this is like hugely important. I mean, we're all very empowered women and believe that women should be in positions of power and influence, but doesn't mean we're surrounded by it, right? And so you're like, not only are you getting this personal board of directors, you created it. They're the people you want the advice from, just like, bam. I'll let you finish your statement. I just got very excited about it.
But also just having a question or just, challenge me on my own beliefs. Like, am I not seeing something that I should be seeing? And so I just don't want it to be like, yes, ma'am kind of thing. It's just like challenge my thoughts. Help me see things I don't see, help me see my blind spots, and help me improve the things that I need to improve on. And so using that as my board of directors, I think everyone should have one. You think about an organization, like you have board of directors, like, well, here's your brand, and you should always be, building your own brand, but also things that you're doing. So how can you have your own board of directors? And you can have the knowledge of, let's say, I don't know, Oprah is one of your board of directors, like, hey, here's Oprah. She's one of my board of directors. Here's the things that I want to, get better at, whatever that is. So think about the 5 people and then create an agent around, go to ChatGPT and say, create my board of directors name. I don't know, Grace. Mine was Grace for grants before. But just give it a name, like treat it like an employee. Like this is the, whether it's a person that it's whether it's your grant writer or whether it's the board of directors, give them names, give them titles, give them a description of what they do, and then lock it in as in ChatGPT. And again, there's so many different, there's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, there's Claude, it could be very overwhelming, but start with one. If you've never really, if you're just using it as a search engine, like it does so much more. Like every morning I get a report from Claire, my executive assistant, that just kind of shares, hey, here's what's coming up for the week. And I literally just went in and typed in, you are my AI agent executive executive assistant. Every morning, I want to report. I give access to my calendar. And again, you have to make sure that you're not just sharing things that are not supposed to be shared. But my calendar, she goes through my emails, tells me what I should reply to, drafts those emails, and it's all in my draft folder. So these are the things where it's like, how can you make your life easier? And the hours you spend going through your emails, I mean, people have like tons of emails, right? So go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I have an email problem. There's 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 emails in my folder right now. Go through the emails and clear it up, organize it, put it in these different folders, spam, reply, need to reply, however you want to do it. But do that and just see how you can actually use it real life, not just this like AI scary thing that's out there. It's just like, how do you use it to make your life more efficient and easier?
Yeah. Could I add on just real quick what my Rebecca goes, Nilly, and
Yes, please. I'm getting like so fired up, and there's so much advice. It's great.
I know this. I think what Monica is hitting on is something really important in the general debate about AI. Is there sort of people and it's not people's fault. The tech companies, AI companies, kind of marketed AI early on as like, oh, people aren't going to work anymore. We're just gonna like sit around and learn pottery and garden while AI does all of the work. And that's, that could be the future for some people if you want that. But what Monica's talking about is using AI to take away a lot of that type of labor, like going through emails that we're spending your brain power on, and she's dedicating it to other things. A woman has founded like 3 businesses. Like I can't keep track of the businesses that Monica is founding because she's using AI to take away all of the mundane tasks. And so I think that is a really powerful message for women. And just people in general, but especially for women, because we have often these caregiving tasks, and not only caregiving, but running a household, and that often falls to women. And so if you can use AI to take away a lot of those tasks and reclaim your brain power to found businesses and help people, I think it's so exciting, the opportunity of using AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really quick to add in. So if there's an event coming up that you guys have, there's, we get invited to, like, especially being a mom, there's like soccer thing and this, and I can like barely ever keep up. So when I get an invitation, I just take a picture of it and I just click it and open up my ChatGPT and upload the photo and say, hey, add this to my calendar and add my husband to it too. And that's it. I don't have to like go in and, so it's these little things that are like, you don't have to have all these technical background. And you're like, well, I'm not techie. It's like, well, do you know how to upload a photo? Do you know how to type? Do you know? Like,
totally.
You are so techie. You don't even know it.
Right. I feel like we can talk about this topic for hours and keep going, but Nicole is talking a little bit about something that is different than maybe what we expected when, the way that AI is marketed, the way that people think about AI. And then there's this huge surprise. And, Monica's also alluding to this like idea, I'm not tech savvy, so I can't use that, or I'm afraid of that, right? Any other surprises like that? And maybe Pooja, we could start with you, but things that have surprised you about AI, been a little bit different than what you had thought. I mean, you've been in technology your entire career, so maybe there aren't any surprises. So it could be a reflection on somebody else that you saw too.
Yeah, no, definitely it did surprise me. And I would say specifically, right? So initially, there was this theme that Nicole talked about that, it's going to do the technical task. It would write smarter code, right? And 2 things here, right? I read someone share on LinkedIn, it was a woman, and she shared, I don't want AI to write my PhD paper. I would rather do it the household chore so I can write the PhD paper, right? So that's reclaiming the brain power. But coming to surprise, what has surprised me is, I think initially we thought that the value of engineers is going to reduce. I actually think that it's elevated. So what I mean by that is, now everyone can write functional code. So anybody can write a Python script to do whatever they want, right? But what it doesn't replace is the judgment that you need to use it in real systems. So in my world, I tie it to how the product is going to be used, the experience that goes behind it, the pattern recognition, and the willingness to ask uncomfortable questions, right? So actually, the engineers are becoming more valuable than less, because Now you don't have to sit hours and hours debugging what you wrote. You can write an AI agent to help you do that, but to actually judge the output of it, to see how it really applies, you can focus on different things. So what we were doing in 6 months, we are doing it in a week. So we are doing faster deliveries, but the importance is on quality. So the pace of it has really surprised me. And what I'm seeing, Stacy, is the people who are ready to adapt and not being intimidated are going to be more successful.
Yeah. And, the people who are just like hard, like, no, I'm not going to do any of it are not the people who are changing the world typically. And I love like one of Monica's businesses, the Lead Through Change, right? It's like when we can use technology to do some of this work for us, now we can focus on what really matters and the change that we want to make. And I want to wrap up this conversation through that lens of change and our values and why we're personally motivated to have our voice at the table, why this work matters, why our work matters and our change matters, whatever that might be. I'd love to hear from each of you as we head out for the week. Nicole, let's start with you.
I will say so back to B, there is a $54 trillion wealth transfer that is about to happen over the next few years in this country with women inheriting money. And right now, women do not feel empowered around money. Most women do not feel financially well. It's a very low percentage. And so I think the capacity of women to learn finance, investing, making decisions with AI is going to be really powerful, because I think when women have more money and they can retain more money, we're all going to do better. There's so much evidence that women invest their money in their communities in programs that matter. They're not buying as many Ferraris, perhaps, and yachts as some of our male counterparts. So I am absolutely thrilled at the possibility of using AI to learn and increase our capacities as women so we can make impact in our communities and in the world.
Pooja, what about you?
So for me, it's always about the culture, Stacy. So I'm a technologist, products go, technologies come and go. But I want to be remembered. You asked about legacy and what really drives me. So it's really like the culture that I bring to the table. I believe my legacy should be that even if I leave a company or a team, that I've built a culture where they are making smart decisions and, people first leadership kind of style. So definitely that's what drives me every day.
And Monika.
I think for me, it's important to have a voice at the table because I represent a different, the different kinds of women too. Like I'm an immigrant, I'm in technology, I'm a nonprofit executive, I'm a founder, a faith-driven leader, and someone who has built, from unimaginable loss. And so those experiences, I think, have taught me the best decisions are made when different voices are heard, and they're not the perfect ones, but the ones that are real, honest, and just able to, inspire someone and bring them hope that, hey, if this little girl from Poland that came from nothing, lost her home again in a tornado, it's like, if she can do it, whatever she's doing, I can do it too. And so just being that voice of hope and for others.
I am so excited about these possibilities and having different level of conversations with the women that I work with. I can see that we're moving beyond imposter syndrome and we're really leaning into, hey, I'm here. I have the ability to build my own freaking personal board of directors, and Oprah's on it. Like, hell yeah, right? Like we're doing the work, right? And then now to just get our voices out there more, to help more people, to build those cultures in our organizations. I am so excited to be on this journey with all of you. And we also had some really practical, great advice, things that I want to implement right away. And I'm thrilled about what's next for each and every one of us. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having us, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
Before you go, if you have not yet subscribed to this podcast, do so now. If you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go there at stacymayer.com/YouTube and subscribe today. And if you know a colleague, a friend, anyone who needs to hear this message, share this information with them now. Post it to your LinkedIn profile. We are navigating this AI era together, and I am thrilled to help you on this journey. If you want to work with me personally, I invite you to schedule a call with me at stacymayer.com/discovery, where we will map out a career strategy specifically tailored to you. Whether you've recently been laid off or you're just looking to navigate this chaotic landscape and you no longer want to do it alone, go to stacymayer.com/discovery and schedule your free call today.